The most asked question right now is, how do I make coins? As a thank you, that's what we're going to take a look at today. Hey guys, FinallyHeSleeps here, and we're back with another FC Mobile video, and this time we're focusing on the market. First though, a little background on why I'm putting this together right now. A couple of months ago, I made the long overdue decision to divide my YouTube channel up into multiples so I could better focus on niche audiences in each, just ahead of the big switch from FIFA to FC Mobile. Now, as a thank you for hitting our first milestone of 200 subscribers, both over at the Raid channel. He just looks like a Walmart Iron Man, but in bronze, which is really weird. It's like Billy Ray Cyrus dressed him. It's got that foot-high fake ponytail, making him the pseudo Kid Rock of the Red Spike Mountains. I don't know. He's probably a fantastic champion. And 200 subscribers over at GearHeads, trying to do everything you can to be as low as possible. All right, so we've got it cut and edged. This is the chunk that we took out. This is more fun watching you do it than it is me doing it, that's for sure.
I think I could do it a couple of days ago.
No, I didn't. It's not that I didn't think you could do it.
Bullshit,
I know you can do it.
I need you to pull it out. I don't have enough hands.
You want me to pull it out? There's a joke there, but I won't say it.
Well, you didn't pull out. That's why I'm here.
I wanted to put together a market video because people have been asking for it. I know 200 subscribers seems like a pittance, but the goal was 1,000 subscribers within 6 months of those channels' releases. So this is a big step. It's a big milestone. Sincerely, thank you. And with that, thank you. Let's check out the FC Mobile market and discuss what it takes to make some coins. Now, first of all, I'm assuming you understand how the market works. Better yet, I'm assuming you understand that it's not really a market at all. It's a peer-to-peer player exchange. Now, if you're confused and want an overview, check out my basic guide on how the market works. I'll put the link in the description. But once you have a grasp of how this transfer market works, how can you use it to your advantage to make coins? That's the question. Now, my old methods of level farming from seasons 1, 2, and 3 and fishing in seasons 4 and 5 disappeared when the bot left. Last season, we focused on slumming most of the year, which worked great in regional markets, but we're now in a global market, so we have to resort to more universal tactics. And there are 5 methods that work best right now. Number 1 is best of the best. This is a common sense method that goes all the way back to the beta for the last season of FIFA Mobile. Not the beta for this season of FC Mobile, but the beta when they released this new kind of transfer market. Now, since it's a peer-to-peer system with prices being driven up by supply and by demand, we're going to first focus on demand. That's what this method is all about. Now, the highest OVR in each position is the easiest place to start. Then we can look for the highest OVR version of the most popular players, and then maybe even look at the most popular teams. Now, to invest in these players, you need to consider a couple of things. First, where the price caps are. You need to understand where their limits lie in the top level. So if a player looks at it and you're like, oh, it looks pretty good, but there's nowhere for it to grow, skip it. You also have to remember that there's a 10% tax that has to be figured into everything. And then you need to be aware of timing. If a new event is dropping soon, then it's possible that it will bring new players in those positions at higher OVR, negating the demand and value spikes for what you're investing in. Best time to do this method is right after a new event releases, so you know what you're working with and what the new OVR and players and those positions actually are in the release of this. Now, right now, for example, we have this new right back who's top in that position. He's brand new, but then again, we have Neymar, who's still top in the left wing position at the game, and he's only a 91 right now, but that's the highest OVR that is available there for left wing. Now, this is by far the easiest way to make coins because it requires very little knowledge and effort. The second method is surfing. Now, this one also ties into the best of the best method. Throughout the week, throughout the day even, there are ebbs and flows in player value. These are called troughs and spikes. It's the waves. Get it? Surfing. Both terms you should be familiar with from the old fishing method. I'm referring to like the peaks and the troughs on the waves. You'll need to pay attention to player values to understand where the average price is and watch for those dips or the troughs at the low end to know when to buy, and then look for value spikes at the high end at the peak of the waves to know when to sell. Again, this isn't really anything spectacular by definition, it's just common sense investing, but there are some tricks to it. First, you have to pay attention to values, not only generically, but individually and throughout the day at various times. I hear people a lot of times mentioning something like, oh, that's a really good price for a goalkeeper. You can't really generalize it that much. It might come down to individual players and why one has more supply than another. So you have to really pay attention. Now, the market graph that each player in their description, what that shows is trends. It is too broad to help with surfing. If you're trying to ride the waves, the troughs, and the peaks, it shows weeks of data. Look at the dates. You need days of data or even hours of data, what time of the day, that kind of thing, to make this method work. So if you're just trying it out, pick a few players with both sales orders and purchase orders, and then watch their values on a bi-hourly schedule for a few days, up to like a week. Look for value shifts, patterns, and average costs. You're trying to familiarize yourself with their trough value and their peak value. That way you know when to buy and when to surf the wave. Do not forget that 10% market tax either. That means you're looking for players with at least like a 20 to 30% swing in value to make it even worth your time investing. A 5 million coin player would need to drop to 4.25 to buy at. Then he needs to swing up at least 750,000 coins past the 5 mil at 5.75 to sell at, in order to give you a minimum of 20% profit on your investment. That's just one example. This is a more involved way to make coins. It's still lucrative, but the effort required versus payout makes it less desirable than the best of the best method for most players. The longer you're in the game and the more you start to recognize patterns in player values and what's going on, the easier this one becomes. Now, the third one is more about planning for eventuals. Windfall investing is a long-term purchasing of players, and then you're kind of relying on a bit of luck. That's definitely going to help. But there's also some foresight and guts that have to take place here for this method. Now, this is the art of investing for long-term changes to the game. In seasons past, this would equate to buying hundreds or even 1,000 or more elites during the winter months to sell back when their value rose in the spring to be used in SBCs and exchanges. That's when we saw that stuff coming every year. Or maybe you're paying attention to real life events and a little bit of game leaks on social media and buying in advance players that may be used for exchanges. So we knew the Zidane campaign was coming, so you saw people picking up center mids or Real Madrid players and LA Galaxy, that kind of stuff, in advance of the release of it, in hopes that those would be required and we would see a spike in their value. Or you can watch values on players and see when an event dumps a bunch of goalkeepers in, for example, and then pick them up at their trough value to hold on to for when a future exchange comes up that requires keepers. Now, if you had a bunch of 80-plus goalies as investments when the Olivier Giroud exchange was released, where he was like thrown into goal, you saw their value go up like 5-fold in a couple of days. This type of investing is great for the lazy investor, or the ones who love to gamble, because that's all this method really is. It's just long-term gambling. Now, the fourth one, this one directly relates to the Windfall investing method, because to make coins in Windfall, it requires a lot of capital and a considerable amount of luck. But when it does pay off, it looks really good. That's where FOMO reverse comes in. Think of it is exploitation investing, or manufactured investing. This is where you watch the trends and push players into the hands of those coming late to the party. We'll go back to the GearHeads exchange to explain this one. We saw values go way up on 80s OVR goalkeepers when the exchange was first released. As more and more saw the value moving up and people were selling their goalkeepers for big profit, more and more people just wanted to get, they didn't want to miss out, so they were buying more goalkeepers because they feared that they would somehow fall behind if they weren't getting in on this trend. Now that in turn drove the player value up even further. We saw this in multiple different events, even the Zidane campaign. Now with the goalkeepers, the bottom finally fell out and the demand was replaced with excess supply. Now the key to this is selling early in the drive toward the peak, not because of the exchange driving up the value of the player, but because of people buying late. You're selling back to those who will most likely get stuck with all those dead investments. It's definitely risky because it's hard to tell if you're one of the ones showing up late, unless you're the one who created the value shift in the first place. You were the one who manufactured the investment. For the Zidane campaign, let's say in the very beginning you said, oh, the Zidane leaks, I'm going to go buy a bunch of 80 to 85 center mids. And you tell everybody, hey, I'm buying 80 to 85 center mids because you know that Zidane campaign's coming. And then everybody else is like, well shit, he's buying 80 to 85 center mids. I'm going to buy some 80 to 85 center mids. And it just starts to flow from there, and you see the 80 to 85 center mids going up. If you're smart enough to get rid of those 80 to 85 center mids before the Zidane campaign ever released, then you made your profit early in and sold back to the people who were afraid of missing out on an investment. Then when the campaign releases, whether or not those 80 to 85s ever went up in value because of the event, it doesn't matter, because that fake investment created demand for a player that you may not even need. This is the last one, and entirely new to FC Mobile, the 3x rank method. We now have ranking in addition to training, and the big difference between the two is you can sell ranked players, you cannot sell trained players. Well, you can, but it strips their training in the process. Now, in the current market, you can look at values based on base level or ranks all the way up to rank 5. Now, to rank a player up, you have to use duplicates of that same exact player. This means there are times where the value of a ranked player supersedes the value of the players it takes to make them. To take a player to rank 2, you need 3 total. The one you're wanting to rank up, 1 to go to level 1 and 1 to go to level 2. Now, if you're moving to level 3 and beyond, it requires more than 1 each step, and there's risk and gambling involved. So for this method, we're only looking at the second rank where you're still guaranteed the upgrade. Now, this method requires you to not only know where the base value of a player is, but where the waves reside in both that and the second tier rank. And what you're looking for are players whose value at rank 2 is more than 3 times their base value. It's got to be more, because don't forget the market tax. Now, to see if it's worth the investment, take the value you can sell the second rank for and multiply it by 0.9. And that gives you the claimed coin value after the sale. Then divide that number by 3. Now that's the value you'd have to be able to buy the 3 base cards at to break even once you rank them in to make a rank 2 card. Sometimes multiple methods come together on a single player. 2 days ago on stream, I found 93 rated Van Dijk was within the 3x rank range. So I spent 44.7 mil on stream buying 3 to rank and sell quickly at a 55 mil range for a 4.8 mil profit. I did end up listing him at 53 mil and only made 3 mil on the whole thing. Now, what happened was I purchased those 3 players live on stream. And remember, it's a global market, so within 6 hours, it drove his value up from 14.9 mil to 18 mil. And within a day, his second rank dropped from 55 mil, where it was on stream, all the way down to 37 to 41. And at that point, nobody was buying because everybody was trying to do it. That was the best of the best method. The 3x rank method and FOMO reverse all kind of rolled into one. Van Dyke, that was 14.9 mil, is now showing purchase orders 2 million higher than that 2 days later. So there's surfing in there too. Riding Virgil's wave is completely possible. But again, I think I manufactured that investment by doing it on stream. The point of all this is there are lots of ways to make coins in the new market. There's no single method that's guaranteed for coins because there's no system to it. It's a peer-to-peer exchange. Anything can happen at any given time, and tomorrow EA could drop a new exchange, a new event, or raise price caps. Anything can happen. If you pay attention and follow your gut with some common sense investing though, you'll find you have more coins than you're ever going to need. At least that's how it worked last season. That's it. Hope that info helped. If it did, make sure you subscribe. If one of these methods are working for you and you've had some big coin sales, let us know in the comments. It's no longer region-based, it's a global market, so all of us can work together. Now, if you have a coin making method that I didn't mention, let us know that too. A few quick shout outs to my top supporters at the website: JMO, Christoph, Johnny, Raven, Politico, Kinsey, and Sammy. Appreciate all your support. I'm FinallyHeSleeps. As long as you keep tuning in, I'll keep making videos. All right, guys, I got 20 seconds here at the end to kind of map this out. There's like, I don't even think 20 seconds is enough time to say anything. Yeah, these are the other channels over there. They're actually over there. And probably gonna run out of time.